As I stand before you, memories flash across me of the various opportunities that were presented to me, some of which I took, some of which I conquered, some of which I exploited. But in retrospect, when I actually think, I believe that the path and the steps that I have taken have actually worked at propelling me in the right direction. And that is why I'm able to stand before you today, truly humbled, yet with an intense sense of satisfaction and commitment. My training in ophthalmology actually officially started when I was in England, where Mr. Desai, my mentor, my father figure, my guide, my family, my everything at the time, who 20 years later still said he remembers me as a keen, enthusiastic person with personal charm. That's kind of him. He pushed me into actually trying to maximize the potential that I could, exude for myself. And then, despite having the rigors of actually needing to raise 2 small children at the time, and after toiling for months and months on end, I managed to attain my FRCS with a huge sense of accomplishment, pride, and I must add, relief. Okay? However, around that time, it was very important for me to somehow, I kept thinking, Dr. Lahiri knows, I wanted to come back home and work for my people, right? So following my greatest instincts and following my heart, I returned back home. And I was privileged enough to join this trust hospital in Bombay, which I've been in for the last 20 years, which I consider today my parent institute and my home, and it has given me everything that I am. I think from this point on, there really was no looking back. I think my greatest sense of satisfaction came from the fact that I was serving the underprivileged people of my society, and as opposed to really craving the luxuries and all the goodies and all the nice things that you could get from doing good private practice. I therefore decided to walk down the path and the journey of training, of research, and of trying to get a deep insight into the understanding of not only the clinical, but the compassionate part of ophthalmology. If I were to today introspect and think of what is it that makes me who I am today, it can just be summed up into 3 tiny little capsules. 1, the Phaco Training Academy. 2, the ability to implement the highest levels of standards for my patients. And 3rd, of course, my role as a mother. In June of 2005, I conceptualized and established the Phaco Training Academy at our institute, and we have successfully trained over the last 13 years 750 or probably more students with the skill set of whatever is required to understand and perform a good Phaco emulsification. They would all go through what we called a practical theory session, after which we took 1 student at a time with whatever level of skill set they came to us with, worked out and formulated a customized program, and equipped them with the best of our ability to get them to do the best possible Phaco ever. I guess then, when the students come to you, you know that they create mistakes. Even when they had any kind of a surgical complication, we would actually guide them and lift them out of this storm of indecision, surprise, not knowing what's going on, doubt, depression, and often despair, and take them to the calm of knowledge, of understanding what has gone wrong, what needed to be done to set it right, and most importantly, what was the lesson to be learned from what went wrong, so that they can incorporate that into their knowing and they don't make the same mistakes again. In the pursuit of this dream of mine, I have been very blessed and fortunate to have with me a very able team of associates, assistants, as well as the ward boys and people in the OR, which have continued to, through the last 13 years and even today, are extremely calm, patient, helpful, encouraging, always there for my students, and they've been an invaluable tool to me as well. So I speak to everyone here, and I've always encouraged students to go ahead and learn, if they're basic Phaco students, to get better at doing better Phacos, understanding very, very deeply that it's so intimidating to do something new. However, we need to be brave, and we need to face our fears and go ahead just about anyway. And I think at any stage of our life, wherever we are at, we need to remember that we need to stay teachable, because life and our profession is all a learning journey for us. A project very close to my heart is what I'm showing you right now. Is we've started training this doctor, Dr. Adrian, how to operate on dogs. And I think we're going to teach him and encourage him and get him to be the best veterinary dog cataract surgeon in Bombay, at least. I wrote this book, The Art of Phaco Emulsification, the passion, the essence, the quest, which I actually consider one of my prized possessions today. I haven't published it, but it's something that literally holds your hand and takes you through all the different steps of Phaco emulsification. Dabbling into some amount of academics, we hold this Phaco retreat. We plan to do it every 2 years at my farm, where we have lectures under the banyan trees. Oh no, sorry, did you go back? Yeah. We do a live surgical program of only challenging cases once in a year, and have now started a nice Circle Arch program which teaches postgraduates really well. So what does it take, and has it been easy? It's definitely not been easy. To be able to stand out there and work amongst an entire institute, which may not be that big, but it's filled with men, it took me a lot to just get myself to be taken even slightly seriously. So what does it take? It takes a firm and unfurling belief in who you are and what you stand for, an intense commitment to your profession, hard work, and aspiring to achieve more than, and being better than what you are yourself, and competing with no one but yourself. I've had the privilege and the honor of being encouraged by my mentors, or being respected by my seniors, of finally being treated by an equal by my colleagues, of having the complete faith of my patients, of having the respect of my team of doctors, and finally the love, adoration, respect, and trust of my students. But I think I need my 2 minutes for this. The biggest feather in my cap has been that despite having the vigors of hard work, I've been able to find the time, the commitment, and the love to lead and guide my children. My 22-year-old today at 18 in an application interview wrote that she was the only kid who didn't have anyone to hide behind at birthday lunches. She went on to writing that in emulating my mother, I attempt to make sure that every decision I make is guided by how its implementation would first affect others and then myself. I push myself to embrace my maximum potential in the hope that one day I'll be 1/10 the person she is. She writes a lot, and this is what she says. Until we take it upon ourselves to completely eliminate hostility in its every manifestable form, we will never truly grow as an unassuming, open-minded, and compassionate community. My firstborn, a student of the law school out here in Bangalore, while she was working here, worked towards setting up research organizations as well as forums for women to take part in debates. She also worked with the underprivileged kids in the schools here, trying to get them to study law. And I'd like to end with my mother's poem. She's an author and a poetess, and she says, "दिए की लौ जगमगाती है, हवा के झोंके से कांप जाती है, फिर जग जाती है, जैसे कि कहती हो, बुझूंगी तो, पर जब तक हूँ, कुछ प्रकाश तो फैला दो." My friends, our fingerprints do not ever fade from the lives that we touch. Thank you very much.